Top 25 Aviation Security Interview Questions and Answers. Aviation security is a highly responsible role because airports depend on trained professionals to protect passengers, staff, aircraft baggage, and restricted areas. In an aviation security interview, employers want to know whether you can stay alert, follow procedures, communicate professionally, handle pressure, and respond correctly to suspicious situations. They are not only looking for physical presence. They want discipline, observation skills, customer service, teamwork, and good judgment. In this video, we will cover 25 aviation security interview questions and answers to help you prepare with confidence and sound professional in your interview. 1. Why do you want to work in aviation security? I want to work in aviation security because it is a role where discipline, alertness, and responsibility are extremely important. I understand that airport security is not just about checking passengers or baggage, it is about protecting lives, preventing risks, and keeping airport operations safe and smooth. I am interested in this field because I can stay calm under pressure, follow procedures carefully, and communicate professionally with different types of people. I also like that this role gives me a chance to serve the public while working in a structured and safety-focused environment. 2. What do you understand by aviation security? Aviation security means protecting passengers, crew, aircraft, airport staff, baggage, cargo, and airport facilities from unlawful interference or security threats. It includes screening passengers, checking baggage, monitoring restricted areas, identifying suspicious behavior, controlling access points, and responding to emergencies. Aviation security is different from regular security because airports have strict rules, international standards, and high-risk environments. The main goal is to prevent dangerous items, unauthorized people, or harmful activities from entering the airport system. It requires attention to detail, teamwork, professionalism, and strong commitment to safety. 3. What qualities are important for an aviation security officer? An aviation security officer should be alert, disciplined, honest, calm, and professional. Attention to detail is very important because small signs can indicate a serious risk. Good communication skills are also necessary because officers deal with passengers, staff, and other agencies every day. Patience is important because some passengers may be stressed, confused, or upset. The officer must also be physically fit, able to follow procedures, and willing to work different shifts. Most importantly, aviation security requires integrity because safety depends on officers doing the right thing even when no one is watching. 4. How would you handle a passenger who refuses to follow security instructions? If a passenger refuses to follow security instructions, I would remain calm and professional. First, I would explain the instruction clearly and politely, making sure the passenger understands why it is required. I would avoid arguing or using aggressive language because that can make the situation worse. If the passenger still refuses, I would follow airport procedure and inform my supervisor or the appropriate authority. My goal would be to maintain safety, protect other passengers, and handle the situation without unnecessary conflict. Security rules must be followed, but communication should always remain respectful. 5. How do you stay alert during long shifts? To stay alert during long shifts, I would maintain focus by following a routine, taking proper breaks when allowed, staying hydrated, and keeping my attention on the task. In aviation security, losing focus can create serious risks, so I understand the importance of mental discipline. I would also observe passenger behavior, check my surroundings regularly, and avoid distractions such as unnecessary conversations or phone use. If I feel tired, I would use my break properly and return refreshed. Staying alert is part of the job, especially in a busy airport environment. 6. What would you do if you saw a suspicious bag left unattended? If I saw a suspicious bag left unattended, I would not touch or move it. I would immediately follow airport security procedures by securing the area, keeping passengers away, and informing my supervisor or the relevant security team. I would observe the bag's location, appearance, and any nearby activity, but I would avoid creating panic. Unattended baggage can be harmless, but it must always be treated seriously until cleared by authorized personnel. My priority would be safety, communication, and procedure. In aviation security, quick reporting and calm action are very important. 7. How would you deal with an angry passenger at a security checkpoint? I would deal with an angry passenger by staying calm, listening carefully, and speaking in a respectful tone. Many passengers are stressed because of delays, flight times, or security requirements, so it is important not to take their anger personally. I would explain the process clearly and help them understand what they need to do next. If the situation becomes aggressive or unsafe, I would call a supervisor or follow escalation procedures. My aim would be to keep the checkpoint moving safely while maintaining professionalism and not allowing emotions to affect my judgment. 8. What is the importance of access control in airport security? Access control is very important because airports have restricted areas where only authorized people should enter. These areas may include airside zones, aircraft parking areas, baggage handling areas, control rooms, and staff-only sections. If unauthorized people enter these areas, it can create serious security risks. Access control helps prevent theft, sabotage, illegal entry, and other threats. As an aviation security officer, I would check identification, verify permissions, monitor entry points, and report anything unusual. Strong access control protects passengers, staff, aircraft, and the entire airport operation. 9. How would you respond if you found a prohibited item during screening? If I found a prohibited item during screening, I would stay calm and follow the airport's standard operating procedure. I would not ignore it or make my own decision outside policy. I would inform the passenger professionally and explain that the item cannot pass through security. Depending on the type of item, I would notify my supervisor or the relevant authority immediately. I would also make sure the item is handled safely and documented if required. The key is to follow procedure, remain respectful, and protect the security of the airport. 10. What does teamwork mean in aviation security? Teamwork in aviation security means working closely with other officers, supervisors, airport staff, airline staff, police, and emergency teams to keep the airport safe. No one can manage aviation security alone because threats can appear in many areas at the same time. Good teamwork includes clear communication, supporting colleagues, sharing important information, and following instructions. If one officer notices something unusual, they must report it quickly so the team can respond. Teamwork also helps during busy periods, emergencies, and passenger issues. A strong team creates a safer airport environment. 11. How would you handle confidential security information? I would handle confidential security information with complete care and professionalism. In aviation security, sensitive information should never be shared with unauthorized people, discussed casually, or posted online. If I receive information about procedures, incidents, passengers, staff, or security risks, I would only share it with the correct people through official channels. Confidentiality is important because careless communication can create security weaknesses. I understand that trust is a major part of this job. Protecting information is just as important as protecting physical areas because both affect airport safety. 12. How do you handle pressure in a busy airport environment? I handle pressure by staying calm, focusing on priorities, and following procedures step by step. Airports can become very busy, especially during peak travel hours, delays, or emergencies. In those moments, it is important not to panic or rush carelessly. I would communicate clearly with passengers and colleagues, stay aware of my surroundings, and ask for support when needed. Pressure should not affect security standards. I believe preparation, discipline, and teamwork help reduce stress. In aviation security, calm decision-making is essential because mistakes can affect many people. 13. What would you do if a colleague ignored a security procedure? If I saw a colleague ignoring a security procedure, I would take it seriously because aviation security depends on everyone following the rules. First, if it was safe and appropriate, I might remind the colleague of the correct procedure. If the issue was serious or continued, I would report it to a supervisor through the proper channel. I would not ignore it because even small shortcuts can create major risks in an airport. My focus would not be to blame someone, but to protect safety, maintain standards, and ensure procedures are followed correctly. 14. How would you identify suspicious behavior at an airport? Suspicious behavior can include nervous actions, avoiding eye contact in an unusual way, watching security procedures too closely, attempting to enter restricted areas, leaving baggage unattended, giving inconsistent answers, or behaving aggressively without reason. However, I would not judge someone based on appearance or background. I would observe behavior carefully and compare it with the situation. If something seems unusual, I would report it according to procedure and allow trained personnel or supervisors to assess it further. Observation must be professional, fair, and based on behavior, not assumptions. 15. Why is communication important in aviation security? Communication is important in aviation security because officers must give clear instructions, report incidents, coordinate with teams, and manage passengers professionally. Poor communication can cause confusion, delays, or even safety risks. At a checkpoint, passengers need to understand what they must do. During an incident, supervisors and team members need accurate information quickly. Communication also helps calm difficult situations and prevent conflict. I believe an aviation security officer should speak clearly, listen carefully, and report facts accurately. Good communication supports both customer service and security effectiveness. 16. How would you handle a medical emergency at the airport? If I noticed a medical emergency, I would stay calm and immediately follow airport emergency procedures. I would call for medical assistance, inform my supervisor, and help secure the area so the passenger or staff member can receive help safely. If trained and authorized, I would provide basic assistance, but I would not go beyond my training. I would also help manage nearby passengers and keep access clear for emergency responders. In aviation security, emergencies must be handled quickly, professionally, and with care. The goal is safety and proper response. 17. What would you do if you noticed someone trying to enter a restricted area? If I noticed someone trying to enter a restricted area without authorization, I would stop them politely but firmly and ask for proper identification or access permission. I would not allow entry unless their authorization was confirmed. If the person became aggressive, refused to cooperate, or seemed suspicious, I would immediately notify my supervisor or the appropriate security response team. Restricted areas are sensitive zones, so access control must be taken seriously. My response would be professional, calm, and based on procedure, with safety as the top priority. 18. How do you ensure fairness when screening passengers? I ensure fairness by treating every passenger with respect and applying the same security procedures to everyone. Screening decisions should be based on rules, alarms, observations, and security requirements, not personal opinions, appearance, race, nationality, religion, age, or gender. Professionalism is very important because passengers must feel they are being treated properly while security standards are maintained. If additional screening is required, I would explain the process politely and follow procedure. Fairness builds trust, reduces conflict, and protects the reputation of the airport and security team. 19. How would you respond during an airport evacuation? During an airport evacuation, I would remain calm, follow the emergency plan, and listen to instructions from supervisors or emergency coordinators. I would help guide passengers towards safe exits, prevent panic, and keep people away from danger areas. Communication would be important, so I would give clear and simple instructions. I would also watch for vulnerable passengers who may need assistance, such as elderly people, children, or people with disabilities. My priority would be life safety first, while still maintaining awareness of security risks during the evacuation process. 20. What is the difference between safety and security in aviation? In aviation, safety usually refers to preventing accidents, technical failures, or operational hazards, while security focuses on preventing intentional threats such as unlawful interference, unauthorized access, weapons, sabotage, or suspicious activity. Both are connected because they protect passengers in airport operations, but they deal with different types of risk. For example, safety may involve fire hazards or equipment checks, while security may involve passenger screening or access control. As an aviation security officer, my main role is security, but I must also be aware of safety issues and report them properly. 21. How would you handle a passenger who does not understand the security process? If a passenger does not understand the security process, I would explain it politely and clearly. Airports can be confusing, especially for first-time travelers, elderly passengers, or people who do not speak the local language well. I would use simple instructions and, if needed, gestures or support from another staff member. I would stay patient but still maintain the required security standards. Helping passengers understand the process can reduce stress and improve flow at the checkpoint. Good customer service and strong security can work together when handled professionally. 22. Tell me about a time you followed rules carefully. In my previous experience, I always made sure to follow workplace rules even when the tasks seemed routine. For example, when checking people, documents, or equipment, I understood that skipping steps could lead to mistakes. I would complete the required checks, report anything unusual, and avoid shortcuts. I believe rules exist for a reason, especially in security-related roles. Even if the environment is busy, procedures must be followed correctly. In aviation security, this mindset is very important because one misstep can affect passengers, staff, and airport safety. 23. How would you manage conflict between two passengers? If two passengers were arguing, I would approach calmly and assess whether there was any immediate danger. I would separate them if needed, speak professionally, and try to reduce tension without taking sides. I would listen to the issue briefly, but my main focus would be safety and order. If the conflict became aggressive or disrupted airport operations, I would call my supervisor or airport police according to procedure. I would also make sure nearby passengers were not affected. Handling conflict requires calm communication, quick judgment, and teamwork. 24. Why should we hire you for this aviation security role? You should hire me because I understand the responsibility of aviation security and I am prepared to take it seriously. I am alert, disciplined, and able to follow procedures carefully. I can communicate respectfully with passengers while still enforcing rules when needed. I also understand the importance of teamwork, confidentiality, and staying calm under pressure. I would not treat this job as just a routine security position because aviation security protects lives in airport operations. I am willing to learn, follow training, and represent the organization professionally. 25. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, I see myself growing within the aviation security field and becoming more skilled, experienced, and confident in airport security operations. I would like to gain strong knowledge of screening procedures, access control, emergency response, and passenger management. I also hope to take on more responsibility, possibly as a senior officer or team leader if I perform well and earn that opportunity. My goal is to build a stable career in aviation security, continue learning, and contribute to a safe and professional airport environment. Preparing for an aviation security interview is not only about memorizing answers, it is about understanding what the role truly requires. Employers want candidates who are alert, responsible, calm under pressure, respectful with passengers, and serious about following procedures. When answering interview questions, always show that you understand safety, security, teamwork, communication, and professionalism. Use examples whenever possible and avoid giving careless or casual answers. Aviation security is a trusted position, and your answers should prove that you can protect people, follow rules, and represent the airport with confidence and discipline.